signs and wonders become more popular sort of things. Not that battles God wins on behalf of people. I don't mind. Whichever you like is fine. But I'm just showing you how things change. And here it's already mentioned that he does signs and wonders in the heavens and on earth. This one sign of wonder, I guess, was saving Daniel from the power of the lions. Now, in classical literature, in the BC period, I don't know if you've ever seen any mosaic floors and things, but I've actually seen mosaic floors where lions leap on the back of deers and stuff and bite them in the haunches. That was considered the sign of death. Lions leaping on the back of deer and other kinds of. Have you ever seen in the African savannas? If you've seen those nature birds, the lions always jump on the zebra's back. Some grab the throat, and the others jump on the back and bite the back or the haunches for some reason. So you see, he has saved Daniel from the power of the lion. The lion's bite is like death. So Daniel in the lion's den, that's resurrection. So that's a sign, resurrection. Okay, that's a big time sign. I'll go along with that as a big time sign. By the way, I don't believe it. This is good literature. I'm not against it. It's inspiring, interesting literature. I don't think anybody got saved from the lion's den or fire or anything like that. But good writers write good literature. That's why this is in the literary section, the writings. This is good literature. People don't forget these stories. So I don't want to confuse literature and history. You can have your own judgment. I'm talking about me. You do what you think is right. So he flourished in the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus the Persian, 28. Okay, now we come to the big time. Now we finally got here, chapter 7. This is what we're looking for, chapter 7 and 8. That's what we want in Daniel. Chapter 7 and 8. I hope I can get it done before the break. So that'll help me move out of this hole, because I've gone too slow, cutting off into Paul twice. But I apologize to you for that. You have to know what Paul is doing and how it relates to this period, so we can try to put the pieces together as we go along. Because if you don't understand what he's doing and what he's drawing on and how he's working with things, you can't understand what the different antagonisms are. So not many teachers will teach you that stuff about Paul. In fact, no one ever taught it to me, and I never heard anyone teach it to anyone else either. So, for good or bad, take it for what it's worth. I already admitted my position on that particular individual. You guys don't like George Bush, so on. Well, people just don't like certain kinds of people. That's just the way life is. The first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, we're back to him again. I thought we were moved up to Darius. Now we're back to Belshazzar. Is this book consistent? No. It's just a lot of pieces of stuff chucked together, isn't it? It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, accreting new material as it goes. What is the authentic core? When was the authentic core written? I have no idea. How old the lion's den, the fire stories, the, Nebuchadnezzar material, the Belshazzar material, the Darius material. I don't know what this stuff is or when it was finally put together. But I think you can see this is a composite book. Can you all see that? This is not a straightforward narrative. And that's why there's several versions of it. The Jewish Protestant version doesn't agree with the Catholic version. Can't tell you the actual differences. You can put them side by side and compare, and you can figure that out yourself. Not a big thing to me what the differences are. But it's just a work in progress. Again, I think the rabbis are probably right on that score, not to stick it among the prophets. So far, I don't see any prophets in this book. But it's a great book. And it leaves a lasting impression. And it is a new kind of literature, as I told you, apocalyptic literature. Okay, here's a really big apocalypse right here. Chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. This is great stuff. and visions that passed through his head as he lay in his bed. So it's visionary material. He wrote the dream down, and this is how the narrative began. Daniel said, I have been seeing, it doesn't matter my translation differs from yours, as long as they're approximately the same, that's all that matters. This is not, word for word here doesn't matter. In Paul, it's important if you pick out a word, allegory. That's important to get that word right. Someone fobs over that, then you're losing it, or zealot. Those are words that really are important. Other words, he did, said, she went, knew, calls, and so on. Those words don't matter. So different translations can have them differently, but the key words always should be important. Anyway, he wrote the dream down, and this is how the narrative began. I have been seeing visions in the night. That's a great line, visions in the night. I saw the four winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea. Here is the apocalyptic images. Four great beasts emerged from the sea, each different from the other. The beasts are always what? In apocalyptic literature, like this, Enoch and other apocalyptic visionary recitals. Kingdoms, great kingdoms. The four winds will be the four parts of Alexander's kingdom after he dies. That I can tell you right off. That's the four winds, that's different than the kingdoms. The kingdoms are beasts. The kingdoms are beasts, and here's the beasts. The first was a lion with eagle's wings. But all the Babylonian temples, lions with eagle's wings are a symbol of Babylon. And by the way, to some extent, I think cherubs are like that. Cherubs that we consider little fat roly-poly babies in Renaissance paintings. Cherubs were really frightening lions with eagle's wings. I think maybe half man, half lion. I can't remember the whole deal with cherubs. But they're not little roly-poly babies. They're frightening temple guardians. They're frightening temple guardians. So Babylon is a lion with eagle's wings. And I looked up, you don't know this yet, we'll find out that's true. I looked up, the wings were torn off. And it was lifted from the ground and said, standing on its feet like a man. And it was given a human heart. The second beast I saw was different, like a bear. You don't know this, but this is going to be the Medes. I don't know much about the Medes, I told you, but this book seems to. And it has 3 ribs in its mouth, between its teeth. Well, that's the 3 kings. The Babylon, the 2 wings are the 2 kings before the Medes come. Then the 3 are the you say, how do you know this? Well, I'll show you in a minute. You should know it all.